I don't know. I never know if we're live. Are we live?
No.
Well, let's just.
And
we're
live.
Welcome to Chatwater, where we chat all things Blackwater. I'm Sean Deppner.
What a smooth intro, Sean. That was the best introduction you've ever
and
done.
Who else we got here? Who are we talking to?
I'm Am, and I'm also here playing on Blackwater, and that's Len. And Len is going to get groceries. Well, by getting her groceries are being delivered to her house.
For the record, the groceries were supposed to be delivered early, but a grocery provider, which we will not name, dropped the ball. So we're just going to be doing a little preamble as Lennon puts away her groceries.
Honestly, that's the realness that we bring to you here on Chatwater. So that's what you're here for. That's why you like it, because we're here to drop some lore and some sweet stuff. Sean, we should talk, and while Lennon will be popping in and out, we should talk about the last 2 episodes because we have not done that yet.
Oh my God, so big.
So big. So
like...
Dish me how, because Letters were so, like, I loved how aggressive he was towards the Giants and was just like, you fucking come at me, bud.
I mean, the thing that this was an absolute delight for Letters, because mechanically, since like Kokane and Callie are such badasses and like deal damage so fast, Letters is like, oh, you got that. And so I've sort of like dialed him back from like single target removal, which is how he was built when he first came into the game.
Right.
And so now it's all like utility support and like situational stuff. And so when like the Giant's just there, I'm like, oh, sick. Like, oh, there's an avalanche, I'll fly. Oh, he's a fucking idiot. Like, blow him up. Like, especially when the objective is not necessarily like kill everything, but like it's just one guy who got the jump on us and we can just get him. Like I was not worried about one Giant. Those 3 who showed up later, that realistically can't take care of.
I think the thing that I'm worried about the most is like what we were suggesting about maybe the multiple Giant clans, like, because it's not necessarily a turf war because they have this hierarchy going on. I think that's the biggest thing, that like we've become the common enemy. And if it can unite all of these 6 or the 3 that we're going to run into on this side of the continent, good job, Lennon. If it unites the ones that we have on this side of the continent, that's really bad. That's
true. All we got to do is give them a reason not to. Right. I love the direction we're going, where it's like, if the sharp teeth want to fuck with us, we'll fuck them back and harder. And like, that's the thing. There's no way the hunger comes swinging for us after we take out the sharp teeth, right?
No, they'll try and pick us off while we're down. They'll try and pick us off while we're hurting, which is, I think, what that hunger Giant was trying to do to Kokane and Neppy in the woods, considering Kokane and Neppy were like mostly at full health. And I love that sparkly mask, Lennon. It's iconic.
So I don't.
What happened?
I don't understand grams.
Grams, okay.
Did you overorder?
No.
Did you
underorder?
These are my grapes.
It's a nice little snack.
Oh no. Okay, I think I might have ordered more candy corn than grapes. I will keep unpacking. I will show the candy corn once I get back.
That's the truest Halloween gift.
This is like, I'm not kidding. There's like 20 grapes here.
But yeah, I think ideally what we can do, if we can just have one big battle where we're all together, and ideally we get a bit of a jump on the Giants, then all we got to do is like take out the Giants, parade their heads around, and nobody's gonna mess with us. That's just
all I want is for Spooky to be able to see a mammoth so she can polymorph into one. That's like I can, But running into the Ravage also terrifies me.
Speaking of who are the Ravage? Oh, they're the Mammoth boys.
The Mammoth clan, the ones that follow the Mammoth herds.
I'm guessing we got a lot of
Lennon,
candy
what did you
corn.
do now? How much candy corn did you buy?
Oh no.
More candy corn than grapes. I think that's the biggest Lennon move I've ever seen.
I'm sorry, this is so much more than My grapes.
So the grapes were measured in grams and the candy corn were measured in grams. And I'm guessing that the number that you put in for grapes, the number you put in for for the candy corn is like 10 times as much as the grape number.
Well, I don't know. I don't know what happened. I'm sorry. I have 2 more things, and I'll actually.
Did you add a 0 by accident?
Lennon, you're iconic.
No, this is. I think this is like 0.7 grams of candy corn.
0.7
kilograms?
kilograms?
Which I don't know. I don't know. I'll get the receipt after.
I think that's like 1.5 pounds of candy corn.
I mean, priorities, right? Like.
Yeah, good point. Anyway, speaking of being afraid, we both had the pleasure of just chilling while we almost had like a partial party destruction.
Yes. Yeah. I was very worried for that the light keepers down in the woods. I was like Matt and I had been talking strategy throughout the week to being like, what are we gonna do? Like, how are we?
Oh, I was never worried about that. I'm talking about those bad snowflakes.
Oh yeah, those bad snowflakes. Like, oh my gosh. I know you and I were just sitting there being like, this is so bad. This is so bad. This is so bad. Like, I can't do anything. We're not there. That was really bad. What crazy thing is too, Tim was saying that those snowflakes are only a challenge rating 4. I know challenge rating doesn't really mean much these days, like with respect to powers and like abilities.
Well, I know the type because like I've had a situation because there's like challenge rating for something like an ogre or a giant is a great example where they sort of like chip away at you, but they don't have like a lot of things that pile on. And then there are some things like these fucking bad ice machines or like an assassin frost veil or like an assassin plant who are like low challenge ratings but have like synergies where if it goes bad it goes very bad, or a mind flayer for example.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Or if you're just fighting a mind flayer it's fine until they eat your brain and you're like oh no.
Well, I think the big thing is that it would grapple you and then keep hurting you as it had you in its grasp. And I think one of the biggest things that prevented that fight from being like multiple people down was the fact that when the person who was in the grapple went unconscious, they let go. Mm-hmm. So like, because it could have killed Yana twice easily. Like it would have killed Yana, that one would have still been up, and it would have gone on to another one.
And because Yana didn't die, Kokane was able to bring her back and. But yeah, if Tim was feeling particularly malicious that night, he could just take him.
Totally. And I think something that's like Tim often takes a lot of the monsters that we have and homebrews aspects of them because we're such a powerful party. Like it's like you can use a typical stat block, but there's also like ways to addendum these monsters or change some abilities or stuff like I think Vel Soom was like a pact warlock. Or like a packed lich, but then gave him a bunch, like took and chose some other abilities to create him as a monster, essentially, to stat him out. Len, how was the rest of your groceries?
Uneventful, except for I ordered a lot of ham accidentally, but that's fine. I can handle that.
A lot of ham, a lot of candy corn, little grapes. That's it.
Okay. It was kilograms, not grams.
Right.
We did put that together.
Does anyone want to guess at how many kilograms of grapes I got versus candy corn?
0.2 of kilograms of grapes. You already said 0.7 of candy corn. We know.
That's like 1 and a bit pounds of candy corn.
I ordered 147 kilograms of green grapes and 0.536 kilograms of candy corn.
Okay, so we got 140 grams of grapes and 500 and change. Wait, 500 and what? How did you come to that number?
Did you put in the exact amount or did they do that?
Because I'm sure I was putting in grams.
So you were
Shopping is really hard.
You were hoping for 0.53 grams?
I don't
That's
think
like half a corn.
So I didn't put in the grams for the grapes.
Okay.
I thought I was just buying grapes.
And you wanted
Oh,
140 grapes.
No, I think it just like I said yes to grapes and it gave me the base amount of like the lowest amount of weight.
Okay.
Which is probably 0.1 kilograms.
And then I was like, how much candy corn do I want? And it was going by weight. I was like, oh fuck, I don't know this. Like let's go this number, I guess.
Here's the real question. Do you think giants would choose candy corn or grapes?
Whatever's in higher quantity.
And more accessible.
I'm so sad that I have that little grapes, but
it's like half a fruit salad. That's what that is.
I know. The amount of grapes I have to candy corn is
it's iconic. It's great.
It's a very Lennon thing to happen, but
I was happy that that we like did the mansion. I was like, part of me was thinking, I'm like, is it even safe for us to put the mansion here? And then when they dropped the body parts outside the mansion and like for sure knew we were there, I was like, this is bad. This is just all bad. They know
absolutely
we're here.
Terrifying.
And they're just sitting waiting to pick us off.
Mm-hmm.
But you saw the domino trap. So that was good.
Here's the thing. Now that we know that they've got beef with us, we're gonna be fine. We're gonna be fine. Yeah. Because I think what we've been focusing on is like, let's just get through this. And I was like, fuck, giants are in the way. And now it's become very clear. It's like, gotta deal with giants to get through this. Once we deal with these giants and are able to parade their heads on big sticks so that no one else bothers us, except for maybe that big furry dragon, then we're fine.
I don't want to fight another dragon. I also can't stop eating this candy corn because it's beside me, but I haven't had dinner yet.
You should probably move the candy corn away from you.
You should put the grapes beside
you. Should put the grape next to you.
The singular grape.
Yeah, I think it'll be a sense of like we'll come into contact like while we're doing everything else. We'll have to like navigate this hierarchy of giants. I think that's just going to be present throughout the rest of this continent, like the rest of this arc while we're up here.
Taking bets.
Okay.
What are the odds that Rysel is in league with one of the 6 clans of giants?
I would bet strongly that he is.
Yeah.
Because in Finnan's vision, right? The one that he had like a bunch of like the one that he had of the giant, there was giants chasing whatever's the remnants of the Illyrians or this settlement, like into caves. Oh, we love it. Just one little
bushel. I'm sorry to keep going off of Blackwater, but I'm only imagining because I ordered these groceries and someone else went and got them all for me. Someone got
For once, it hasn't actually been
someone
jokes.
got this many grapes.
It's just grapes. We've been derailed by grapes. Like 10 minutes in and derailed by grapes.
And then had to get me that much candy corn. And then they came and brought it to me. Like I met that person.
Much respect for the personal shopper that put Lennon's grocery order together.
They wanted a handful of grapes. Who am I to judge?
I bet people order weird shit like in combos all the time.
1 kilogram of grapes. Oop, overdid it a bit, but what am I going to do? Pick grapes off? Little treat for her.
Lennon, talk to me about some of your favorite moments from the last 2 episodes.
From the last 2 episodes?
Yeah.
Well, I will say, as we're going on, things that have made me laugh. Letters having to make a dex check when running back into the kitchen was one of my favorite moments.
Oh.
And then your comment about a bull in a china shop. I don't know if you could tell on stream, but I spat water all over my computer screen because it killed me. And then I'm so glad they didn't die fighting those snowflakes.
Yeah. We were just talking about that.
I did forget about Bilber, and I am so thrilled that we took a little side quest to get him home.
I know.
Bilber? Yeah.
I mean, we should never split the party ever again. but it was a nice little side quest.
No, this is fun. Now Letters knows that he can just teleport to like see his friends and like come back and everything's fine. This is the lesson that he's learned. As long as he travels with Emma, fucking with Neppy, they can go back to Wolverine, like take an hour, maybe have a spa day, and just like teleport back.
I think that's the thing about that was like, I think for me, Lennon watching that was because Callie didn't see or hear what you guys are saying when you're introducing Bilber to everyone, but just the like trust immediately that Letters was like, yeah, I trust Bilber completely, and then Callie being like, I don't trust him. I wouldn't trust me when I was his age and right out of foster care, because like how I wrote Callie in the beginning, I wouldn't have. Like Callie wasn't the greatest in the beginning.
But I think also like Bilber has been, spent the last
while. Maybe Callie was just worse than Bilber. Maybe we're not ready for how mushy Bilber is going to be.
I mean, you also are presuming that Letters is a good judge of character.
Yeah, that is true.
Like,
that is true.
Neppy's a good judge of character.
Callie's a good judge of character usually when she checks for it. And then that episode seems so far away. I don't remember what happened after that. That was the start of the avalanche.
Yeah. And then we got stuck in that avalanche. Okay. The moment when Letters cast erupting earth underneath the giant and causing avalanche.
Terrified. Oh my God. I was so terrified of that.
Sometimes the pit comes to you. Sometimes you get pushed.
Sometimes you are the pit. I keep
watching. The pit. You know what, Sean, I will say, I love Letters endlessly. But Letters keeps doing these things where like I'm like, oh my fucking God, I'm so scared. Like just like the shrinking of the worm when the worm disappeared, and then the erupting of earth making avalanche part 2. I was like, oh my God. Me Dumb Owl. Really love
Me Dumb Owl, Me Land on Snow.
Me Land on Snow. Yes.
Me Dumb Owl, good. Me Land on Snow.
Oh man.
What's funny is owls are fucking dumb. Like
owls are dumb.
They're dumb animals.
That used to be my favorite fact to list off as a kid. People would talk about Harry Potter and owls. I'm like, do you know owls are dumb? It was one of my favorite things to say as a kid. Owls are dumb. Owls are dumb. But I think that avalanche that spooked me a little bit, because like I think when my own personal fears get thrown into things, Callie's brain gets a little bit more scattered. Fair. We share a brain. I don't know if anyone knows this about me. I fucking hate snow. I hate snow so much. One of my biggest fears is being buried in snow. I learned about tree wells when I was a kid. And
what are tree wells?
So when it snows and the snow builds up around the trees, the trunk is here and then the leaves are here and shit, and then the snow can't get all the way around and be packed around, so you can fall into there and be trapped underneath by the base of the tree and just not be able to get out. I have reoccurring nightmares of being trapped in a tree well and suffocating. Like
I watched someone fall into a tree well once. It was a bad. I'm sorry, Lennon. I'm sorry. Yeah, I was snowboarding once and watched it happen. It was bad.
It's literally why I never learned to ski or snowboard, because I used to go tobogganing all the time because my birthday's in February. So like, what are you going to do when you're a kid for birthday parties? You're going to go tobogganing. But I learned about tree wells, and then I never wanted to do anything related with the snow again. I won't go up to the mountains. I hate it. I hate snow. It terrifies me. So being buried in snow, horrifying.
I remember
avalanche. I was just like, I don't know how to work my brain. I don't want to be buried in snow.
Tim and I were visiting some family that weekend, and like Friday night at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, he looks at me. He's like, I had an idea for tomorrow. I was like, oh. He's like, I have to do a bunch of planning now. I was like, okay. And then I looked at him after the avalanche happened. I was like, was that what you were planning? And he's like, no. I was like, Carlson, come on. So yeah, I thought that was a really cool way to mechanic and like stat out an avalanche.
So
I thought it was really cool.
Also, if Tim's watching, feel free to throw my biggest fears at me. Like, that's not sarcastic. I don't care. Like, throw them at me. They're not my character spheres, so throw them at me. I'll work through that. What do you call it? Exposure therapy.
I don't know
I'm
if
not
he's
kidding.
watching
That's
tonight's
not
Zorking, I
sarcastic.
think.
But yeah, that's not sarcastic.
Okay.
It's like,
I mean, because
throw
I
character
have
spheres
been
at me.
holding off on this spider farm because I understand you're not like a fan, but like if you
Yeah,
want
it grosses
giant
me out.
spiders to live adjacent to our home and your wife's home,
I will say,
like-
Sean, I will say, you bringing that mechanic in, that is you thinking that Callie will let you. She is married to the queen. Callie will not let that happen. She is married to the queen. You are not having giant spiders in a farm. You have to ask the queen.
it's
I'm
in a dome.
Queen. I'm married to the queen. Try getting spiders next to our house. Try. I swear to God, try. It's not happening. Every time you brought it up, I've been like, that shit's not happening.
Oh my god.
As long as Callie's alive, there will be no giant spiders in Wolfrain.
What do you think the excavation's for that Bilber's doing? The
Are you
subterranean
gonna
spider
legally bring
caves.
Are you gonna legally bring spiders in?
Uh,
I'm married to the queen. I don't think you're
could you let me know
understanding
about
this.
the legal precedent in Wolfrain about giant spider ownership? Because I feel like it hasn't come up yet.
What's the legal ownership of being able to bring different animals from different planes of existence?
You say that like I know all of the like. Did I
Like, I don't
write the
think that's
bylaws
allowed.
of Wolfrain?
There
I
has to
didn't.
be border control of some sort. So
But
you
I mean,
can't,
but I
like-
will say, I'm honored that you think I wrote the bylaws for Wolfrain.
Sean
Like,
and I are just start fist fighting over spiders and be like, "And lawyer, please."
I just
I love chat's also saying like I think Jen's in chat right now and it's like, come on, you know, Em wrote the bylaws for Wolfrain. I am honored that you think so. And maybe now I have to. Maybe now
Yeah.
I have to.
Come
I think
on.
Tim will probably have rules about it.
I'm married to
just-
the queen. Fuck you all.
I don't think there's a law in place.
I'll
Maybe
kill your spiders.
dogs,
I'll fucking
but like
kill your
thus far
spiders.
we've seen like dogs running
I'll kill
free.
your
Like,
spiders.
you can't get into the gravel pit.
Anyway.
You're not that sneaky.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
You can't pick
Also,
locks,
Sorry, I will
and
say
it's magically protected.
I can pick locks.
Uh-huh.
And I'm super stealthy, so fuck you.
Stealth's got nothing to do with
and I
it.
have I have dispel magic, all those spells. I
Uh-huh.
can get in.
But then
Oh my gosh.
you'll use all your spells to get in, and then you'll be surrounded by
Okay,
giant
okay, okay,
spiders,
okay.
and
I'm
you won't
reining
know
you
the
both in.
safe word.
I'm reining you both in. And we're going to keep talking about the most recent 2 episodes before we
okay.
go to our intro.
Okay, I do have another favorite moment of my last favorite.
Dish it.
I'm gonna kill all your spiders though. I'm gonna kill them all. If I get in there and I don't know the safe word, I'm gonna kill all your spiders.
Well, you'll have to, because they
I
will
will.
assume you're
I'll
there to be
kill
fed.
all your spiders.
And when you don't give them the things that they're fed, which is a special spider brew, then they'll probably come for you. I mean, they're domesticated, but
Also,
not that
please bless
domesticated.
Jen in the
Fucking kill
chat
them all.
for saying magical beasts and where you absolutely won't find them by Lennon. Okay, what was your other favorite moment?
my
then?
other favorite moments, because now my brain's onto the second episode.
Yes, we're in the second episode now.
We're on the second episode. now.
Emotionally, we've arrived there. Yes.
Emotionally, I'm back there now. I was so stressed out going into that. Oh god, there was so much stress. Like you couldn't tell because my eyebrows were glued to my face, but there was so much stress.
I forgot we were.
We were in costume, yes.
But I think because the beginning of that, it was just like us bringing ourselves back in. Letters getting out of the nets. I didn't think he was gonna be able to do it, but that moment where I was just like, "Fuck you and your nets," he was like out. I really loved the new shadow fact.
Oh, yes.
That was great.
Like, you know, forever immortalized
Forever,
because
yeah.
more than one of us has heard it. Yes.
Yeah, and then like didn't love the fight with the giant because any fight with a giant is freaking me out. I will say, I'm so scared Callie is gonna die here because she just keeps going down. I felt really bad after that fight.
No, my gosh.
Well, you like I messaged Em privately after Callie went down. I was like, I'm so sorry for going down again. I'm
Like,
such a fucking
never.
I'm
was
such
like-
a liability. Like
No, but like if you think about it, like, you know, Callie is a paladin who fights like a barbarian because she's our tank at this point, right? Like
your
you're a
tank with
sac-
like the 3rd level hit points in the group.
No, I mean you're still up there. I think the only person who has higher hit points than you is Kokane.
Kokane.
Kokane, yeah.
I think
Yeah.
Finnan has more than me though.
No.
No.
He's a weenie spell boy.
How much do you have letters?
$120.
I got 125. Finnan's got 130.
So you're all like really close to me. I have 137 hit points.
Yeah,
no
and
kidding.
Kokane's only at 149, I think. So
So
like
I guess
we're all up there.
So going into that fight, I will say I was already low on hit point, like not low, but I was 100. I was like 115 area, so I wasn't full up. But that first hit, when Tim went, oh no, and I took 47 points of damage, and then he was like, he's gonna attack you again. I was like, and then the stomp, failing that strength save really did me in because then both of them gotta stomp me.
Yeah, I knew when you went prone.
Rhinos.
I know when you went prone that was going to be really bad.
And you know when I knew when Kokane got an attack of opportunity and I just went, kill it, please. Like
yes, I remember watching that while I was lore keeping and being like, not good.
Please kill it. But in that, my favorite moment was Callie getting not the Callie getting scooped over the shoulder, but Callie being scooped over the shoulder, and then Neppy just being like, no, and just severing that giant in half.
Not in Neppy's house.
Not in Neppy's house.
Nobody takes Neppy's friends. Not in
What was
Neppy's
that?
house.
Bolt of Glory?
Bolt of Glory, yeah. So that
Is that
was
just raw damage or because all I saw was like super kill, everything's cut in half.
Well,
let me grab my spell book and I can read you the spell.
That. I rewatched that fight because I don't know. I rewatch it sometimes. The cute moments. I go back and I rewatch the cute moments.
Cute.
And I was like, that's cute. Neppy and Callie are cute. Look at their friendship. So I went back. I went back and I rewatched that, and I did 102 points of damage to that giant before he picked me up. And I was like, oh God, 102 points of damage. And then whatever Neppy did on top of that. So if I hadn't done 102 points of damage, there's a chance that giant might not have gone down. And then with that, and then they have 40 feet a moment. So it could have dashed, it could have been gone in 80 feet. But
Neppy's got spells that have 120 foot range. So there was literally in my mind the second you got picked up, I was like, there is literally no way that I'm letting this giant get away with her. And I had been saving my 7th level spell for plane shift just in case we needed it. But then when the giant went on the run, I was like, well, I don't fucking need plane shift anymore. I'm going to nuke this giant.
Oh, it's the 7th level.
My 7th level spell. So I was gifted this spell by Velvari in Philanis when we was after, just before Hade's death, just before Zesperia showed up. Velvari gave me this spell and was like, they'd been working on it, or it was a spell of that had been crafted by one of the previous high priestesses, which I love that Tim was able to weave in that lore. It's a 7th level evocation spell, instantaneous, 60-foot range, takes an action, and it requires a small amber rod bound with bronze. You fire a large burst of energy at a target within range. Target makes a con save. If it fails, takes 10d10 radiant damage, half on a success. Celestials are unaffected by this spell. But fiends and undead have disadvantage on the saving throw.
Ooh.
Wait, so am I a celestial?
No.
Oh.
Well,
yeah.
Asmars have celestial heritage, but you don't count as a celestial creature.
That'd be so fun.
You're still
imagine how fun that would be if we were just hanging out in Wolverine and Callie was just hit me with it, and just it does nothing, and she's
that would be like a Coatl or a solar angel, or any of the big celestials.
Yeah, Callie's not that cool.
We haven't met a celestial yet.
Finnan summoned one once.
Yeah,
Finnan summoned a Coatl.
Right, I remember that.
But it was very confused and didn't.
That was awkward.
It was awkward. Coatl.
Yeah. But I think that was one of my favorite moments. Was just Neppy just slicing it in half.
Absolutely.
And then
I was so so happy it failed at saying. I was I knew that the giant had super high con, and I was even still 10d10 halved is the most powerful spell I have. So the most powerful potential spell that I have. Even harm as a level 6 spell is 14d6, but is also a con save. But even still, the average damage is less.
Well, just I've been thinking about I hope Tim's not watching right now, but
Tim.
Legally, Tim.
Oh.
Yeah, take him out. Legally, I think, like, please, universe of Garyang, Callie can't not be picked up. Like, in the sense of I am useless after 60 feet, can't do shit. Like, I would not, like, if that was switched and Neppy got picked up, I wouldn't have been able to do shit. Like, I would have had to, like, get to it and be chasing it. I wouldn't have been able to do anything from far away. Like, 60 feet is about my range.
Yeah.
Is where I go. Like, javelins, really, but like...
You got that lightning javelin. I'm excited to see that.
Lightning javelin, but I don't want to use it in a place where I'm not going to be able to get it back.
That's fair. That's fair. I think that's like the nice balance between like having some casters and, you know, your melee folks who are like primarily like melee damage. Because like I'm useless melee. Like I have some touch spells, but like my best stuff happens like damage wise when I'm ranged. Like you put me at 60-foot range, I'm golden. I have so many spells that can do a fuck ton of damage at 60 feet.
Yeah, I gotta be melee. Like, there's been so many fights recently where, like, I've been like, oh, I don't want to go near that. Gross. Like, a dragon with multiple heads. I was like, I don't want to go near that. Please, no. But I was like, if I want to kill it, I have to be right beside it. Like,
well, I knew that I needed to keep myself alive.
Yeah.
Because at the end of like I knew Kokane was down. I knew he didn't have many spell slots left.
Yeah.
And I knew that he was like gonna fall. Because I didn't know that Callie was gonna come down. I thought it was just gonna be the two of us. And I was like, I need to keep myself, you know, at least for the first couple rounds where nothing can hit me melee, so that I can heal him a bunch with anti-life shell.
I think I've said this to you. I think, but Callie, this is like, I guess, I don't know if this is actionable. I guess it's just talking about Callie in the sense of who she is now. Watching Neppy go into, what do you call it? The rift?
The abyss, yeah.
The abyss. Watching Neppy go into the abyss, something has now shifted in Callie, because I don't know if y'all have noticed, but now Callie is like, shield of faith on Neppy, heal Neppy, go back to Neppy and heal Neppy, because she's been like, she's okay with it. Like, she almost died. She was just like, yeah, whatever, the abyss, I'll just walk into it. Now Callie's like, now Callie has Neppy on a leash. It's a leash that Neppy might not know about, but Callie has Neppy on a leash now.
I think Neppy's clocked that Callie is more protective of her, for sure. I don't know if Neppy's put it together, if it's because she like walked into the abyss, but like for me, like for as Neppy in that moment, like when Neppy was stepping to walk into the abyss, and I know I've talked about this a bunch, is that it's like, that's Neppy's whole job. Like that's her entire life's purpose, was right there in that moment. That whatever she had to do.
Your purpose is now to be married to Kokane and be Callie's best friend.
Her purpose is to protect the seal on her finger and the one in her husband's chest. That is now her purpose.
And what about the seal of friendship, Em?
That too.
There is a world where Blackwater just gets beat up real bad. Yeah. Like Kokane just gets punched in the chest real hard, and maybe someone hits Neppy in the finger, or just both our seals break. Will we just have to fight the Chained Oblivion again?
Yeah.
Like, oh no.
There's also a world where it almost happened, where if Neppy, Callie, and Kokane go down, y'all don't have Revivify.
Yeah, none of you have Revivify.
Like that.
As long as the ring and Kokane's heart is fine.
Well, see, this was my thought. I was like, I said to Matt when we were like trying to strategize a little bit, like prior to come in with a bit of a game plan. I was like, you know, thinking, I was wondering if this was a sharp tooth, because we didn't know it was a hunger giant at that point. I was like, if they eat my arm, fine. If they eat my leg, fine. They just can't eat my left hand. They just cannot eat my left hand, because then I have to like destroy that giant and go through its guts to find my wedding ring.
Yeah.
Because it was like, and I had in my mind too, like or also, I guess this is actionable too, so I'm not going to talk about 2 minutes, but it's like, I have stuff in my mind about what will happen if Neppy's arms or legs get eaten. Because I'm going to have to regenerate them, and I can do that.
I know exactly what will happen if you lose your legs.
What will happen if Neppy loses her legs?
Callie will just strap you to her back.
Just carry me around. Because I would have to regrow. I think it's one leg at a time. I think I could only
That
do it
makes
once
sense.
a day.
You can only put
Yeah, one limb a day.
One leg in front of the other.
Yes,
Exactly.
I think I had to think about that too, because I was just like, oh my gosh, like if it's the sense of just like I can like, save my left hand by like putting an arm in this giant's mouth, I'm gonna do it. Because it's just like, well, if this giant's gonna go for Kokane's chest, like I'm gonna put myself in this way so that it doesn't break his seal or take my ring. Like I can't.
I'm so scared we're gonna lose someone in Garyang. Like I have this friend that I talk to about D&D a lot. And we're like really close and stuff. And he like generally every time I talk to him about D&D and a session that we have, I'm like, I almost died. Like I almost died. And he's like, you always say that. You always say you almost died. I'm like, yeah, that's because every time I see you, my character literally almost dies. Like I'm not exaggerating. And now we were talking just a little bit ago, and he was like, he messaged me, and it was right after Callie got eaten by the worm.
Yes.
And he was like, I'm so sorry. Every episode that I've watched of like when we've been streaming, he's like, you've almost died. And I'm like, it's the universe showing you that I also almost always die. Like it's like it's just like the universe has been like, oh, every time you watch, Callie's almost gonna die.
But I think the thing is, Len, is like you don't play Callie recklessly. Like you play her quite smart, and I really love the way that you play Callie. Yeah, like no, I love like I think something that I think has been really cool as someone who's seen you play Callie from the beginning is that like something that I think has really grown is your role play with her, obviously, and her story. And also your understanding of like the paladin class and like the mechanics of the paladin, and the way you play Callie is so smart. Like you're so good at like with your like the smiting, and you're very strategic about it, and you're great with like the ability, like the buffing spells where you can like, and you don't play her recklessly. At least it doesn't feel like as an observation. It doesn't seem that way in the slightest. It just happens to be the case that you are our big pretty lady with a sword. Like that's.
I feel like every single time that I run away from the group to go up close to something, I feel like I'm being reckless.
No, like you said.
No, gosh, no.
That's where we want you.
That's where we want you. I think that's where we need you, because we don't have anybody else. Like Kokane can get in there and do a ton of damage, like a ton, because he's like the part of him that is a fighter, like the levels that he has in fighter. So it's like, he can hit something 5 times with an action surge. Not to mention if he's hasted, he can hit something like 6 times, which is fucking insane. But like,
I would love to be hasted. I think that means I can hit something 4 times.
Hell yeah. But like,
I think I can
the damage that you can do with smite is unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful, wonderful thing about the paladin class. I love paladins. I think they're great.
I think the only thing with Callie right now in the world that we're in, like just like in the things that we're fighting, historically now in the past couple of fights, it's been like Callie gets in, she gets a hit, and she gets her 2 attacks and does like a huge chunk of damage. But then like the things turn on her, and it's like, oh, Callie's gonna get maybe 1 more attack in to do this. Maybe she'll heal herself, but then she's going down. Like that's what happened in the worms. She killed one of the worms basically with Neppy, and then she got taken by one of the worms. And then same thing with the giant. She hit it once and then she was down. Same thing with the dragon. She hit it like once or twice and then she was down. Like it makes sense. Like they're not gonna leave the girl with the sword who just hit you and did like 100 and something plus damage in 1 hit up. But
I think the thing is too, is because you fight her so strongly with the melee, like you fight her like she's a barbarian, which is awesome with the powers of a paladin, but you don't have that added thing in with the barbarian because you can rage and take half damage, right? Like, or from non-magical attacks like bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing.
I just need to get better with healing myself.
Honestly, the action economy, like this, I think back to the, like, I don't know if you remember it, but from the Feywild arc where Neppy was against the Bone Devil, where it was just her fighting a Bone Devil. No, you weren't there. Okay, so there was a fight where Neppy fought a Bone Devil alone, and the action, and like I killed it, and I didn't heal myself once in that fight. I was like dangerously low, and I had some very lucky rolls. But like the action economy of healing, when you can do more damage when you're up close with something like that, is almost not worth it. But it all depends on how you play it, right?
But here's the thing. So here's the thing about, I'm gonna go back to the fight that we had in the pit. like whatever. I'm so bad with names today. My brain is mush. It is a
In
Monday.
the Scar?
No, in Wolfrain.
In
The God's Brawl. The
Oh,
God's
the God's Brawl. Yeah, yeah.
So the God's Brawl. I was like, I'm not super good at just like figuring out combat and all that stuff. So I had a plan that I was like, next round, gonna heal myself with like my stuff, just like basically as much as I can. And that was literally my plan. But then it like got to my next turn and I forgot to do that. And I like said I was gonna attack and I was like, fuck, I was gonna heal myself. But I had already said I was gonna attack and I was like, I'm not gonna go back. Like I've said it, it's out loud, I'm gonna do it. And then letters popped out behind me and hit me for one more hit point than I had. And I was like, I was gonna heal myself and I would have been fine. But because I just like went into attack mode, so now that comes up in every battle I'm in.
Yeah.
That's where I was when I was trying to decide between hitting the giant. I was like, do I hit the giant or do I heal myself?
I think that's the thing in like 1v1s when it's rather like if it's like enemies against a party, it's like, don't worry about healing yourself. You have 1.5 clerics to do that for you.
True.
Right? Like Neppy is no, Kokane's the 0.5 cleric.
Oh, right,
so,
right.
So it's like Neppy can come in, and I even think about the like don't worry about healing. It's because that's what your clerics are there for. And like I see myself in when we're in battle as like a healing primary. Like that's my job. My job is buffing and my job is healing. And my job is like, protecting Yana as much as I can. Because she has lower hit points and a lower AC. So like you've been really awesome in there stepping in with Shield of Faith. And like that's I try and do the same thing as well. Or like Chant. Chant is my favorite spell.
I love Chant so
Tim
much.
hates that spell because it's so powerful. He's like, I gotta nerf it. I was like, no, you gave it to me. It's fine. It's good.
I love Chant. And
Chant is great.
I love the DM's natural 20s not existing.
Yeah, Tim hates that too.
I
But
know,
it's like,
I know he hates that.
He doesn't hate it because I have it. It's like, and I didn't build Neppy. Like I built Neppy as a grave cleric, being like, I love the aesthetic of her being a grave cleric, and like I as a person am fascinated with death. So to have this like wonderful character who has such an interesting take on death and her whole religion is about it. Yeah. And then I was like, oh, this is fun. I get this really fun thing. Oh, this is very powerful. And I get it 5 times a day.
That's crazy.
Great.
If I was a DM, I'd love to have a grave cleric in the party, because the amount of times I've been like, oh, that's gonna kill that party member. Like when DMs roll crits, it's so bad.
It's so bad.
Like, having somebody in the party who's just like, no, that's a regular hit. I'm like, oh, thank God, I planned for that. Like,
thank God.
Yeah. But I think too that like, like I think of Neppy's most powerful healing spells, like heal.
Yeah.
That's like 70 hit points. Just back to you. And also life transference. Life transference is my favorite cleric spell. And like I know like Kokane started using it a bunch too, because it's a 30-foot radius. Yeah. Like it's a 30-foot range. I can hurt myself to give, if I'm super high on hit points, which I should be because I'm the cleric. And if I'm playing myself properly, I'm not in melee for the kind of cleric that I play. But like, if I'm within 30 feet of you, I can give you a bucket of hit points. Just simply like I don't have to touch you. I can be really far from you and give you a bucket of hit points. And like the nice thing about grave clerics too, is like, if someone's unconscious and I heal them, I get max healing on it. Dang. It's great. The Circle of Mortality is awesome. And then the level 17 grave cleric ability.
I was looking at
tell us, Emma.
The level 17 cleric ability is called Keeper of Souls. So if an enemy dies within 60 feet of me, I can gain myself or one of every turn, myself or someone who is within 60 feet can gain hit points equal to the enemy's hit dice.
Dang.
Or the number of their hit dice.
Let's just took my grapes.
Mish took your grapes.
But you only had like 6.
I know. I literally only had 6 left.
So like if they have 10 hit dice, they get just like something dies. It's just like auto healing. It just happens.
That's so cool, dude.
It's
no limit?
Great. It's once a turn.
Once a turn?
That's so
wild.
Cool.
Yeah.
Dude, I was looking at Paladin stuff. I'm so excited for higher level paladin stuff.
Oh,
Like I was
I'm
looking.
stoked about your actionable paladin stuff that I know you and I have been secretly talking about
I
also.
know. I want to be able to do that. Once we're out of here, I'll be able to do that. I don't
Yeah.
want to do it here yet. I want to be
No.
able to be back and be with Kamea.
Also, I realized it's 8:45 and we haven't rolled that intro yet.
Sorry. Welcome to me. Welcome.
What did you do?
We didn't
did you
roll
do?
intro yet.
Yeah,
Well,
no,
That's true.
we never roll intro until after we're finished talking about the intro. So let's roll that intro.
I'm gonna say
Let's roll
intro
that.
a few more times just in case
Intro?
Cody
rolling
kind of
the
gave up
intro.
on us. We're rolling the intro. It looks like we're rolling the intro.
Are you ready for the intro, Sean?
I'm ready for the intro. There we go! And we're back.
I forget how much I love that intro every time.
Such a
and
good
then I see
intro.
it. That was the very first one I made. It's pretty good for a first time.
That's very, very good.
So some announcements. It's at 8:46. Thank you to all of our sponsors, Legendcraft, Silverwing Armory, Tiana, our amazing campaign artist, and Keisha from Fairy Dragon Dice. These wonderful Canadian creators have been supporters of the show from very early on. Legendcraft creates amazing RPG like tabletop products, all crafted out of wood. And if anything you like from them, enter the code Blackwater at checkout for 5% off. They have an amazing pre-order system coming right now for their magna trackers for the spells and hit points. We will be having a couple of those come into our possession for giveaways. I'm so excited. And there's some other stuff, awesome stuff in the works for them. So please go subscribe to them and follow them and all of their kind of good stuff. Silverwing Armory still doing their partnership with Grimbeard Leather. Their pre-orders are in and will be shipping out on November 20th. So get over there for their Lore Keepers bundle. And if you enter the code Blackwater at checkout, you get 10% off. Also, Tiana, her commissions are closed as of right now, but if you are wanting some art from the amazing miss._Marston on Instagram, you can probably get some of those in January. So head on over to her Instagram and give her a follow as well. And then Keisha, I think we'll be having some more dice release sometime soon. She always has some amazing goodies on her website as well as her Instagram, so you can go check her out there as well. Cody's going to throw that stuff up in the chat. I think it's one of these ways. It's one of those ways. Subscriptions and Prime Gaming. Thank you for those who are subscribed to us. Everything that you do helps us do what we do. And it's very, it's awesome. We get to do a lot of this fun stuff. And your subscriptions go back into our stuff that we do for the channel. And I know they just said that twice. We have some really cool stuff coming up this month in December and in January. So if you like what we do, please consider subscribing to us. We have some great emotes and, it's always good to bring your emotes with you. Never go out there alone. And we're working on some new emotes for the higher tiers. So if you are interested in subscribing at a higher level, you can do that too. And then we have no Wednesday show this week. It is our week off, but we will be back on Saturday for our regular campaign. But we have some very cool stuff happening later this month. We will have Behind the Screen coming back with a fantastic guest who we will talk release next week. Character development with some fantastic guests, and then also a very, very, very special one-shot this month that we'll be talking about very soon as well.
Is that my one shot, or because that's another
that's
fun
also
thing.
coming too. Yeah, Sean's going to be running a one-shot on the channel. Sean, do you want to talk about that?
It might be a 2 to 3. Look, I don't want to talk too much about the details, but if you ever wanted to see me DM, it's coming up in I guess 2 weeks or whatever. I feel like
it's very exciting.
Yeah, keep I guess your 2. I don't know. We'll see. There's details are coming, but because it's me in charge, they are few and far between at the moment. But
so when the details are there,
stuff.
They will be released to you, likely on the gram, and then also here on the channels and announcements.
It's going to be an icy setting. It's icy.
It's like we need more snow and ice, Sean. We're all
look. It wasn't my choice. It's a partnership with somebody. I don't know.
I'm really
you'll
excited.
See it.
I'm excited. I'm going to be playing in that one. I'm very excited. Yeah, so that's going to be really great. And then also, I had one more thing. Oh yeah. The world is at a really precipitous time right now.
Oh, yeah.
So very thankful for you folks for being here tonight. Please go out and vote. if you have not already. If you are experiencing difficulties at the ballot or your voter place, there are lines that you can call to report voter suppression and voter harassment. If someone tries to tell you that your vote cannot be counted, ask for it, or you're not registered, ask for a provisional ballot. It is your right by law. They cannot deny you your vote. Make sure your vote is heard, because it will be heard. And the folks who are in charge of especially the mail-in ballots, but also the people who work the polls, are like, they're actually quite proud of what they do, and they really like what they do. And voting is really important. It is your, it is a right, but it is also like an exceedingly big democratic privilege that we get to vote. We voted here in BC in our election, and I'm pretty happy with the results as it is now. And the world is a kind of scary place, and the anxiety that you're feeling is real, and it is hard. And please take care of yourself. Doom scrolling happens. Please turn off your mobile devices if you need to. Take time away, and just know that like there are communities where you are loved and you are supported. And something like, if you need time away, come hang out with us at Blackwater. We're here to love you and shower you love back. Because you're important and your voice matters, and don't ever let anyone tell you otherwise. So yeah, that's my little soapbox PSA about voting. I'm real passionate about that kind of stuff, and I know I've been feeling the weight of the stuff in the world, and I don't even live in the States. So yeah, but
I'll give you guys mesh if you want. I'll just give them to you. Okay, I need.
That will not make things better.
That won't make things better.
It's a little demon cat. I know he likes you.
Sweet baby.
Sometimes.
He likes him.
He does. He likes me because I feed him and spend a lot of time giving him scritches, and spent a lot of time with him while I was over at Lennon's house a couple times.
No, I do like when I'm in person with Mish. He's lovely.
Sean has preferences between Rogue and Minx.
You do like him, yeah.
I do like him a lot. He's good.
Yeah,
he's a good boy.
He's a good boy. I will say, I was saying this, I'm going to derail this one last time. I was saying to a friend, most of the time you see Mish attack me, it's because my little sweet boy has really bad allergies. Just like real bad. And his nose gets all messy and his eyes, and he doesn't like it when I clean his face. So when he sits on my lap, I'm like, aha, I'm going to wipe your face. And then he bites me.
Oh, that's
rude.
fair.
Rude.
You touch a cat's face, it's going to fuck with you.
Yeah.
Unless you do a little right there.
Yeah, right there.
Speaking of things that feel lovely, we should probably talk about the 6-month time arc. I'm really excited about this one. So this one actually starts off right. I'm just finding my notes here.
This is right when we got back, right?
Yeah, this is right when we got back from Barmwich. Also, we're going to be talking about stuff that immediately followed the Barmwich Arc. So if you have no idea what happened in the Barmwich Arc, never fear. Parts 1 through 4 are up on our both our YouTube and are also here on Twitch. The full episodes of Chatwater are up if you want to hear all the banter, but I've truncated them down. So if you just want to hear the lore, the history and lore section here on Twitch, they are up permanently as part of our highlights. So you can go find them there. I'm also in the process of mixing an audio only recap of the Barmwich Arc, which is 4 hours of previously unheard content, which is the audio recordings that I did in my car after every session.
I love those ones.
So I'm going to release that on YouTube as a YouTube exclusive. It'll be super raw audio. There's a lot of there's a lot of like weird jokes and me being or having to be very quiet because my daughter is asleep in the next room. So I can't wait to release it to you. I'm in the process of editing it, but 4 hours of content takes time. So it'll be up soon. So we're going to chat about episodes tonight, 58, 59 and onward, which give us kind of the lead up to the Vel Soom Arc, which starts when we headed to Manta in the Forgotten Expanse in episode 67. So the stuff with Vel Soom had been percolating for a while at this point, but we'd never met Vel Soom, and he'd always been a bit more of a distant kind of silent threat. We'd heard about him through Kokane, but this us coming home to Wolfreen after Barmwich, the 6-month time gap is it's one I think a really quintessential Blackwater part of the Blackwater timeline. because so much happened during those 6 months that I think really cemented us as a party, and cemented us as characters and like what we were doing as people in this world. And then at the end of this little mini arc, the stuff with Vel Soom really kicked off, and we were like off to Manta in the Forgotten Expanse on the hunt for the seals, which is actually quite close to where we started streaming. So we'll basically do like, because we started streaming at episode or session 72, 73. So between 67 and 73, we only had like 5 sessions prior to when we started streaming, which is what everyone has seen so far if you're caught up. So yeah, should we start talking about the 6 months?
Let's talk about, so
this is my favorite little bit of time.
I love time jumps because it's so much fun. I mean, we did this with Dresda where we had a week.
Well,
We got back after the most stressful fucking arc we've ever done, which we've talked about with the meat
Barmwich
prison.
was so
people's
stressful.
Brains getting eaten. And Tim just says, your characters have 6 months. What do you want to do? We let him know in advance what we were kind of thinking of so he could sort of prep some stuff. And then we just went to town. And Lennon, take it away.
Is this when we got back from here? I don't even remember. My brain, man, it's so important to my character, but right now my brain is just mush. It's just a big bowl of porridge up there. Is this when we got back from Barmwich? Is this when the proposal happened?
It is. So that's what happens in episode 58. Spoilers. So this episode is titled, or session 58, titled "At Last." We get home, and Kamea essentially like fills us in on what had happened after Cora like ditched and left. She dipped hard. So the coronation went on as planned, like 5 days before we got home. She was last seen like 2 days before. And then the city wasn't actually, and then she'd like just gone. And the city wasn't aware of the queen's disappearance in the slightest. And the council thought it was best to kind of like keep it under wraps. Because the city, they were worried that the city might think it was a coup to get rid of Cora because she was this brand new queen, and then she was just like gone. So we go to the council meeting, we see Kazim, we tell the whole story, we give Nissa a bunch of our weird stuff that we got from the Illithids, and we're like, here, and she's like, give this all to me, I just want to look at it. And we also learned that our keep had been completed to our specifications in the time that we had been gone, because we'd just been living at Kamea's house from this point. So it was really nice.
Mish, you're gonna fall. Mish.
Did he bail?
He did.
He did.
And that was mostly me trying to keep my headphones connected so you didn't go from headphone audio to in-life audio.
Laptop on the floor. So we go to, we stop by the Temple of Nephthisiket. There's new priestesses that are there. We cremate Fildo, but don't give him burial rights because Neppy was ticked off.
Fuck that guy.
Yeah, fuck that guy. So we said no burial rights for him.
If I recall,
go ahead.
Kokane finished his church and like
yes, that was during the 6 months. That was.
Oh, sorry, we're not there yet.
Yeah, we're not there yet.
Oh, sorry,
not there yet. No, that's okay. I love that. We will get there. So we go and we pick up chatWater. Sean's really excited to get there. So we go and we like see all of our rooms at the house, and it's wonderful and delightful. And we all spent like I think in this session like an hour talking about what our rooms in the house.
This was such a just talk. Oh my God, sorry.
No, go ahead, please.
It's a Monday. I'm so sorry. This whole, I think, because we've done the Feywild arc, right?
Yes, we had so it went Feywild, then Barmwich, then the 6 month arc.
Because I'm just going to give the own little Callie brain backstory here for a second, just because,
please do it.
So, in game, in all the sessions we've been playing, through the Feywild, before the Feywild, and then through Barmwich, Callie knew herself that she was going to propose to Kamea.
Yeah.
Like she found those rings. Like we went to Adonis once, and like Callie was like, "Can I see your rings?" Everyone was like, "What?" And Callie was like, "Shut up, it's nothing." Like I'm just looking at rings, and she picked out multiple different rings, and then she was pretty sure on the ring she was going to give Kamea, and then she asked Kamea's mom
Yes.
which one she thought was best, and Callie was like, that's the one I thought too. And then when we were in the Feywild, Kamea's mom gave a letter to Callie to give to Kamea. And Kamea hadn't seen her parents in forever. So
Yes.
this whole time going through Barmwich and stuff, Callie was like, guys, how am I going to do this? I can't just be like, here's like a crucial letter to your life. And like, this is probably really hard for you. Also, will you marry me? So Callie was like, I got to space it out. I can't give her like detrimental information or maybe upsetting information and then like ask her to marry me. Like, that's not great. Like, I can't do that. So
yes.
The first
and I think too that you were just basically like, I can't ask Kamea to marry me. And I was like, yes, you can. Absolutely you can.
Oh, yeah, because Lennon, commitment scary. Callie, love commitment. Lennon,
love stability.
Because I think we've talked about this on chatWater though, but like how like in the car rides home from D&D, you'd be like, what's gonna happen with Kamea? And I'd be like, well, we've only been dating for like 2 days in game. Like nothing's gonna happen with Kamea. Like what the fuck? Like excuse you guys. Like
yeah.
And they were like, no. It's not
2 days
D&D time.
Yeah, D&D time. That's all escalated. Someone in the chat is asking about, so the corrupt Queen of Wolframe, Cora Thorngage. Yes, she mysteriously disappeared. And she was like, if you're wondering where she is, head back and watch the Barmwich Arc, because the stuff at the end of what happened with Cora. So we get back to the council meeting, and basically like all of this information is secret. The city doesn't know that she's disappeared. We'll release it in a little bit. And they're just queenless for the time and just governing. They're just like governing as the council of like the 6 of them. It's like Nissa is on the council, Wendell, who's the treasurer, Andaz, who is like a council person, Kazim, who's the admiral, Kamea, a council person, and Solgar, who's the head of the army at this point. And Neppy asks like, why in all of the 9 Helds did you vote for Cora? And they're like, well, we just did. And I was like, yeah, because she charmed you and you didn't pay attention to us when we told you that. So they decide to like wait 6 months, and they've, they nominate Kamea officially to be queen, and they vote in the room while we're there. And of course we don't get a vote, but they vote and they accept her in, and they're going to basically wait 6 months and then coronate her as queen. And she accepts the nomination because we'd been pushing Kamea to go for queen for so long.
You bringing out that moment just brought up, I think it was Callie's cringe in me, because like I'd forgotten about it until you brought that moment. That's when Callie tried to smoothly tap her girlfriend on the shoulder to be like, you should do this, and just like biffed it, like didn't make a good save and just like put her hand on her shoulder and just wasn't smooth at all, the slightest.
Because I think Callie and Kamea were still secret at that point. It wasn't like out there that you two were dating or together.
No, I think they always knew.
Was it out there? Yeah.
Yes.
And so she accepts, and like she sees us out of the meeting. She's really excited. We're gonna throw a party that night to discuss everything. So we go pick up the jar and the patch. We go to our keep. I will go through all that. I'm sure there will be some point where we talk about what our rooms look like, because everyone had very specific discussions of what room looks like. And then we head back to the house. We make some preparations for the party, and then Callie talks to Kamea, giving her the letter from her mom. And then they just like, there's dancing going on in the background, and it's just like a beautiful, wonderful party. Like Neppy's pulled Kokane onto the dance floor. Everyone is like around, and it's lovely. And then they like both propose to each other.
Kamea proposed to Callie.
Yeah, so cute.
That moment was so sweet, because like Kamea pulled me off to the side, and I wasn't expecting it. So Lennon started crying, and I was like, no, I wanted to do this. And Kamea was like, that whole thing, Kamea was like, I don't have a ring. And she started doing her proposal. And then Callie was like sobbing and just pulled out a ring for Kamea, like in the middle of this party. And then how you guys all found out was Jar ran over to you and was like, Callie and Kamea are crying. And like,
we were like, what?
So sweet. Yeah, that was so good, because like I was planning on proposing to Kamea, and so was Callie. Like that whole time she's like, I'm gonna propose to her, like letter, gonna give her some time to process that, and then proposal. I'm also only in town for a couple of
like a little bit, I think. So letter, time, proposal. Like that's how Callie's brain went. And then
Yes.
she got proposed to.
And then basically at the end of that session, Tim was just like, you have a joyous, wonderful evening. And now we're going to do a time jump. The next session will be you working out what these 6 months are, what you do during these 6 months. Finnan also wasn't with us at this time. He had gone off on his own as a little quest to find himself after the stuff happened down in the Underdark after his brain got eaten. And so he
there is canon stuff that happened along there. I think he learned how to forge. He also fought a troll at some point. I don't know the details.
I think he spent a lot of time like going from small village to small village, traveling around, meeting with folks and kind of justifying his time, like what he'd been doing. You know, and I think Adam explained it that it was just basically like, you know, you folks were all like, we were level 8s when he met up with the party. He's like, Finnan was a level 8 because he'd been just given these parties. So he had to go kind of work through all of the stuff that someone does from levels 1 to 8, which I think was lovely. And then we just went into like, what do we do for 6 months? And I think we all like planned stuff. And then Tim just kind of narrated us through it. Kind of like that episode we did where we were that 2-week time jump, which was so nice.
So nice.
What did letters do during the time jump?
It wasn't just letters, but the entire gravel pit and Blackwater Bar and Grill and Firebrand Cafe were all excavated underneath the Blackwater Keep.
Yes.
The Blackwater Bar and Grill was opened, and this is how Neppy came to be a gravel boy.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Gorge, Clack, and Krager and Letters were all working day and night underneath to like make stuff, like to flesh out what the gravel pit looks like. And we were not subtle about it. And Neppy, who hears everything, like came down at like 2 a.m. and was like,
after taking a bath, it was just like, are you guys okay? She just knocked on the door and was like, is everything all right?
We're like, yeah, we're fine.
She was in
go
her
away.
robe.
She was just in a bathrobe at that point.
She was in her robe.
Are you guys all right? And
then
I was perfectly prepared to leave. And I was like, okay, all right, that's fine. And then you were like, don't you want to be a gravel boy? It was just like, okay, sure. What do I have to do to be a gravel boy? So Neppy was the first non-Minotaur and Petch gravel boy.
Non-Scar native.
The non-Scar native gravel boy. And that is a title I hold very strongly. Thank you very much.
For gravel boys, is it just Callie, Finnan, and Yana that aren't gravel boys?
Yes.
Yes.
And Kamea and Jar. And well, no, Kotis is not a gravel boy, not yet.
Not yet.
Well, yeah, Kamea's.
Leppy's been through her initiation though.
Yeah.
She has.
Kokane also went through the initiation. He had to fight a Gigapatch.
I think Callie has a different relationship with like Clack. I don't think Callie needs to be a gravel boy.
Well,
Callie also,
I don't think you can be because we know you're anti-spider dome.
Anti-spider, but also in Callie, like, has stated and will probably continue to state how much she hates being underground. It doesn't fit.
Yes.
Callie hates being underground. She fucking hates it.
That's our whole thing. We just keep digging deeper and getting hotter. It is so the gravel pit, I don't think we've ever made it official, is a kind of a dojo. It's just basically an ultimate man cave. It's sort of a low ceilinged, like 30-foot space.
Yes.
That looks not dissimilar to the ground from the Cell Games arc from Dragon Ball Z, if we got any OGs watching. There are a series of bunks with hammocks, which is the preferred sleeping means in the Scar, where all the Petch and Letters hang out. And then there's a small cafe known as the Firebrand Cafe, which is different from the Blackwater Bar and Grill. Blackwater Bar and Grill, open to the public. Tad is also a gravel boy.
Tad is also a gravel boy.
The Firebrand Cafe is just a small, it's basically a bar with chairs. Yeah. That is only accessible to gravel boys and technically a gravel buddy, but only while he's on the clock. That's a new rule for Bilber.
Oh my god.
This
You
has been
can't
very thought
take
out.
my brother.
And this is why. Well, no. We hired him, and so like the excavation is access through the gravel pit, and there is also a secret chamber in which we set up. This is why we needed Neppy, is because we needed to set up the brain drug making mechanisms that we found in the Underdark, and so there is a secret door.
Yes,
there is a secret door. I won't say how it opens because somebody's listening, but there is a secret door with a secret password. That is canonical and written down. That gives you access to the brain drug room. And
I think at this point only only Letters, Neppy, and Kokane have passwords for can get in that room.
I think. Damn, there was. Oh, I remember what I was gonna say. Just in the sense of Blackwater Bar and Grill. I've just thought about this now. Kamea going in to go meet Bilber in the Blackwater Bar and Grill. She made a comment about how she's never really been there. Or hasn't. I think in that it's canon that Callie also hasn't really been there because every time we're home and you guys go and party in the Blackwater Bar and Grill, Callie's like, okay, I'm gonna go see my wife. Bye. And she's just not really down there because she doesn't.
I think you were both there for the grand opening, but that's it.
I think that's it. I think that's really the only time Callie's been there. Kamea and Callie don't really go and eat at the bar and grill because
I can also say too, she's the queen. I can imagine it'd be very hard to be out in public.
Yeah, we go find a little forest spot. We're both little forest girls who are just like,
so Letters did all the stuff with the Blackwater Bar and Grill. You should probably also tell them about getting heisted. About the heist with Latour.
Oh yeah. So there were a couple spells that me and Yana both wanted. Notably, I wanted to disguise self spell because I'm a Minotaur, I'm famous, I get spotted everywhere, I stand out. Sometimes I don't want to look like me. And so we met this gentleman called Latour, who was a self-described con man, and he was like, here's the thing, I'll trade you the spells, but you need to get us an earring that belongs to the queen. And we're like, oh, we can do that. And so we're like, this is gonna be a heist. And then it was me and Yana and Clack all being like, how are we gonna heist this earring? And basically we got 2 steps into it and it wasn't going well, and we're like, let's just ask her. And so we just went up to fucking Kamea. We're like, Kamea, you're rich as hell. You're the queen. Can we have one of your earrings for this guy we met?
I forget about this until you guys bring it up. Every single time I forget about this. So I'm willing to bet money that Callie and Kamea also forget about this. Because you didn't come up and find them. You went up to Callie and Kamea's room. Kamea came to the door, opened it a little bit, was like, hello? Callie popped her head out behind Kamea. And was like, what the fuck are you guys doing? You were like, can we have an earring? And we're like, yes, shut the fuck up and go. Gave you an earring and then you left.
That's not going to break bad at all.
It's not going to end on Callie or Kamea's radar. They were just like, leave, go.
Yeah.
So.
It's just, and then you just started inviting people to Callie and Kamea's wedding. You were just inviting everybody to Callie and Kamea's wedding, and they hadn't announced it really. You had just been like, you want to come to Callie? Do you want to come to the queen's wedding? Do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? And you're just inviting everyone, and I love that because that's such a Letters energy. Personal
mission to make it the best party ever.
Yeah.
Okay, we got to talk about. Now's the time. I've been sitting on Jerome and Selah for. Ever.
We haven't gotten to the wedding yet.
That's the wedding episode. Fuck, I'll have to sit on them a bit more. They're my favorite NPCs. I don't pick favorites. They're all my children. But Jerome and Selah have a special part in my heart.
I pick favorite NPCs.
We know you married them.
I only married one of them.
So I think we can. I'll try and go through what everyone did this episode.
I do want to talk about Kokane though.
Yes,
Kokane's
we'll get there.
We'll get it's chatwater.
So we'll chatwater. We're getting there. Chatwater, we're getting there.
Also, this is we're saying wedding episode. This is the first wedding episode Blackwater has had, and we've had two weddings. Episodes.
This is the Callie and Kamea wedding that we're leading up to, not the Neppy and Kokane wedding.
Yeah, they saw the Kokane wedding.
Yeah,
they
didn't see this wedding, and this wedding.
Why don't we call you guys Nepokane?
No.
That's yeah.
What's my ship name with
Kamea then.
Kalmea. Kalmea. That's what I call you, at least in my notes. No, I call you Kalmea in my notes.
Kalmea is great. Nepokane, though,
I just call us the Light Keepers. That's just what I call us.
It's Nepokane. Yeah.
Okay.
It's either Nepokane or Kepi, and Nepokane is obviously. Oh, we like Kepi?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't like either of them, but that's fine. I don't.
You married him.
Sorry.
Person is part
We
of
could
the
be
ship
like
doesn't get to pick the ship.
Yeah, they don't. But like, here's the thing. Can you imagine being like, oh, you know Blackwater, and you know the couples of Blackwater, Kalmea and Kepi.
Nepokane.
Kalmea and Kepi.
Kalmea and Kepi does sound good together.
So
I'm naming my next cats Kalmea, and the other one's gonna be Kepi.
So Spooky spends a bunch of her time in Barmwich, and she meets up with Falric during the election, and like a bunch of the alcohol comes from the distillery to the Blackwater Keep. She campaigns for Falric to become governor of Barmwich, and he is elected, and it's wonderful. And she helps get her uncle back on track, and she works with him to kind of like help him reacclimatize to normal life because he'd been having a really hard time. What else happens? We do. Neppy becomes a probationary gravel boy. Callie starts her tattoo apprenticeship with Augie and gets really good at that. Callie and Kamea talk about who they're going to invite to their invitation or to their wedding. They talk about having a family for the first time, which made me cry. Callie asks Neppy to do the ceremony for them, to oversee the ceremony, and Neppy was like, okay. Being like, I'm Nep. How does one do that? How does one do marriage? How do we do this? Neppy only having recently learned what marriage was. Callie gives Kamea Callie gives Kokane a tattoo.
Right.
Gives like
what's that Kokane tattoo?
Kokane has a cog and a sunrise on his chest.
Hell yeah.
Right. I forgot that Callie did that.
Kokane gets initiated as a gravel boy. Okay, brain drugs. We should probably talk about brain drugs. Since the three of us
Fuck you guys.
We did
Fuck you guys.
We needed Kokane to assemble the brain drugs. I can't remember why we needed Neppy, except that it's
so
Neppy knew how to. Neppy knew how to do. Can I take
the reins on this one?
Take the reins, Lennon.
It was letters, and Nepokane together. That's easier. That is the easier one. So it was you three, and then Yana was in Barnwich with her family.
Yes.
And Finnan was away.
Yes.
And then, wait, that's 5 of the 6 members of Blackwater. Where was Callie? Still in Wolfreen. And you guys were just like, we're going to do this. We don't need Callie right now. We're not going to call her. That's fine. And then you guys came up after distilling the brain drugs and we were going to do it. You're like, oh, shit. Before we do these brain drugs, we should probably get Callie's aura so we don't, these brain drugs don't mess us up. I will say, to be fair, in my own character's defense, I had been wearing the talisman for a very long time.
Yes.
A very, very long time. And the 6 months that we were here, I was basically wearing it the whole time. So what happened was you guys came up and Lennon had already been like, what the fuck, guys? What the fuck? Doing this without me? So Tim looked at me and was like, you take it. Like, you take it. And I was like, hell yeah. So I take them. And I flew up in the air. Took the brain drugs that you guys just distilled. This is such a moment for me. This is so funny. Mostly because I love the bit that comes through it. Took the brain drugs and the perks from the brain drugs, things Callie already had.
Sean, you were so choked.
It was everything.
Yeah.
It was everything Callie already had. Tim was
it was stealth and martial weapons. So for anyone who's like brain drugs, we had come across, this is from the Barmwich Arc, we had come across a bunch of brains in a jar, and the Illithid down there had like a system where you could distill essence from the brain, and they'd figured out how you could like do it and inject it. And we'd figured out that if you make a high enough, like if your constitution is decent enough, you can get that ability. So like Letters had already gotten proficiency with a forgery kit. So we were like, okay, this is from a Gith warrior. He is proficient. He's like very good in battle. He's good with weapons. This will be great for letters. Let's do it. And then Callie stole the drugs, and it had no effect on her.
Didn't I also get a language I already knew?
No, that was from somewhere
sure?
else. Yes.
Yeah, that was
Yes.
funny. Don't do drugs without Callie.
Don't do drugs without Callie.
Like,
yeah. And then Nebby took the
we
talisman and was like, I'm taking it back.
For the record, we weren't doing drugs necessarily. We were doing scientific experiments to figure out how the brain drugs work.
Yeah,
and after
without
that
Callie.
debacle, we stopped the scientific progress. We just
haven't
stopped.
done them since.
We haven't investigated since.
Yeah, you should just invite Callie, dude. Like,
we're fine.
It's
Thank
gonna
you.
happen again then. Because the whole problem here, it's not that she's gonna take it when she's invited. She just wants to be invited. She's also hasn't worn the talisman in so long because Callie's already kind of chaotic, and you put that little talisman on her, and she's like, "Goodbye."
It's okay. Letters has his own way of boosting his con. We're fine.
So before we get to what Kokane did, let's talk about what Neppy did. So during the 6 month, Neppy basically got her temple all up and running and refurbished. During the month of Nearavin, which is the holy month of Nepthisiket.
I do just want to ask, was it in disrepair prior to that?
It was just Softly who'd been running it.
Softly.
Sweet Softly. It had been just Softly who'd been running it. So Neppy had called for more priestesses, to have them sent over and been like, no, this is we have to become a bigger presence here in the city. It is very important that we're here. The work we're doing is important, and we need to have a foothold in this city. So the priestesses had arrived, Valax and Gisa, and one of the acolytes named Isa, who Neppy named a Samet, which is the special type of priestess who does all the work with the dead. So she had already got them started on that, and that had been great. So during the month of Nearavin, there's a special holiday called the Night of Requesting, which is where you as a priestess of Nepthisiket can call upon the spirit of someone who has recently passed and ask for an omen. And so she went to visit Torin in Torin's grave.
Oh yeah.
And she asked if he was at peace. And she saw a vision or an omen that was a spiritual, a dog, looking very healthy and well fed and happy. But there was a shadow that was cast over it, and there was a sense of contentment. And the dog started to look very nervous. And the dog seemed restless and concerned. So she was like, okay, that's concerning. And then they held the first Twilight's Grace ceremony, which is an homage to the Raven Queen. This was before all the stuff with the Matron of Vengeance had happened. So generally, all was thought to be well with the Raven Queen at that point. So she scries on Volkath during this time a bunch of times. And she sees him standing in a barren wasteland, ancient ruins of red rock and earth at the mouth of a massive cave and he's wearing leathers, and she doesn't know where he is. So my sense is that this is part of when he was Rysel was searching the globe for any of the Illyrians. This is him out there not finding anybody.
He's gone on such a journey.
Yes, gone on such a journey, our sweet boy. She scries on Cora weekly, and he's not back. Or she's not back. She scribes on Finnan a bunch, knowing that he's to make sure that he's alive.
Boundaries or whatever, it's fine.
Neppy doesn't have those.
He doesn't have those. Wrong.
So, and then she casts sending to him close and lets him know of when Callie's wedding day will be. And he says that he'll be back and that he'll be there. She starts, creating the hand fasting ceremony for Callie and Kamea. They do the brain drugs. She does a bunch of legend lore and a bunch of stuff. We learn about Kokane's gun. We learn about Spooky's pants. She hires Codis as the guard. She hires Orally as the housekeeper. She hires Grecia as Jar's governess. She and Kokane just date also. They just have time together, and it's really nice. And Neppy, for the first time, I think, in forever in her life, relaxed. She just relaxed for a couple months and just had a wonderful, normal as she's going to be life. I was very, very happy with what happened.
I think that was 6 months. I think that was the time where when we were told asked what we were going to do in those times.
Yeah.
Where Callie was just straight up, she was like,
for like, I guess I was just like, she's gonna spend time with her wife. There's not, or her fiance. There's not a lot that she's gonna do. She's just gonna spend time with Kamea for 6 months, like tattoo, and then a couple other things, plan the wedding. And I was like, that's it, dude. That's all Callie's gonna do. She's just gonna spend 6 months with Kamea.
We should talk about Kokane's temple. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, so this is what I remember.
Yeah.
He'd like commissioned the construction of it, or I think he just started the whole thing over the 6 months.
He did.
Like,
he and Nissa, he asked Nissa, and they did put in 3 months of work before it was
Yeah.
open. Yeah.
He was like, upon this rock we shall build it.
Yes.
And then like he built this temple, and then it was like, guess what, high priestess, you have to make a speech. And that was his whole thing. It was like, building a temple, easy. Public speaking, uh-oh.
Yes.
Because you may have noticed, dear old Kokane Lightkeeper is not necessarily the most charismatic man in the world. And so it was really cool. Like all of Blackwater who was in town, like showed up to hear his speech, and he like cast enhance ability on himself. And I've got a very rarely used spell that I deeply loved called like skill excellence or something.
Yes.
Skill enhancement, where I gave, because he already had proficiency in like persuasion or whatever, and I gave him, no, that's the thing, I couldn't help him because I don't know. I think I don't know. Here. I tried.
Neppy helped Kokane write the sermon. And basically like this temple that he created was like, it's essentially in a round. It's like a circular temple, and there's this kind of pulpit in the center that is a workbench. So people sit kind of up on rises in this like circular all around sense. There's a bronze statue of Arathis. There's like this mechanical shutter system that like opens the doors and lets like sunlight in, which shines inside. It's like the way Tim described it was beautiful. I know Matt was just sitting there just being like, this is the best. It was very cool. You know, he and Nissa worked together. Kokane and Nissa worked together on it a lot because she had been a follower of Arathis for a very long time, even if she didn't really know what was going on. And so he gives this like wonderful sermon about, he talks about the journey of he and Arathis, and that Arathis is the reason he's here, and that Arathis is about choice, and choice is a gift. And that he, in following Arathis, has taken the choice to rebuild himself as a person and the world around him instead of running, destroying it, or cowering from it. And he's been this way before, but he doesn't have to be this way anymore. And he wants to encourage other people to take up her mantle, so that they can see if they seek to rebuild themselves or build the worlds around them in the way that they feel would be honoring of themselves and Arathis, taking choice in their lives, they would do that. Talking about the need for repair and renewal. Yeah.
And I think I don't think he critted, but he did real good.
He rolled very well on that.
For like a homeschooled kid, like the speech that he wrote, like Matt wrote, was great, but like it was very well received.
I don't actually think Matt wrote a speech. I think he just that was off the top of his dome.
Yeah, when he wants to turn on his Captain America mode, he just can.
So good. And it was packed. The temple was packed. There was like 500 people. Oh, here we go. Neppy gave him enhance ability. Letters gave him expertise in religion because he didn't have proficiency in religion at that point.
No, he didn't.
Clack,
Sorry.
Clack gave him mage armor, which was probably my favorite thing. We cast mage armor. Clack can't cast mage armor. It was just like mage armor.
Something happens these days.
Something happened once with Clack.
When he was in the scar, he can cast magic.
No. There was something happened once we were going to battle, and Clack went mage armor, and we saw something happen, and we never got to the bottom of that.
Yeah, we don't know what's up with Clack, but when he says mage armor, something happens.
I'm looking at Tim as he walks away with his water bottle about Clack casting mage armor. And he's just hiding and sliding behind the curtain.
Something happens.
That's exciting. So then like people are really like wrapped with his performance. There's like people congregating. There's a lot of kissing babies and shaking hands going on. And this artisan approaches him, and human woman wearing like like a necklace that's made with brass cogs. She says her name is Lex, and that she made them and kind of felt compelled to build them by Arathis. And so while they're chatting, Kokane just inlays all the coins with like the pattern of a sun using like, just like alchemically just doing that while they're chatting. And he like encourages her to keep coming back. It was a really beautiful moment. And he feels really warmed by the presence, and that Arathis was like looking down on him and happy with him. And Neppy was really proud of him. It was really cute.
He was like technically a high priest before that.
Yes.
But now he was like proper.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah.
Techno pope.
And this was where you started setting up the taco and the ice cream vendor. So please, Sean, take it away. This is where you first introduced them, because they were outside the party at the Temple of Arathis. Because you did the after party for the temple.
That's right. There's a lot of after parties going on.
This is when you first met the taco salesperson and the ice cream vendor.
Okay, so to stress, we were running out of time and like people had stuff to do, and I just wanted to be like, hey, I just want to like score because we got this big wedding showing up.
Yes.
And so like I need to just score like what's delicious, like a taco truck and like an ice cream sandwich thing. And I was like, can I just get that? And I thought it would be like hiring CODIS, which was literally like, oh yeah, you have that. But yes. Tim was like, hey, what's up? I'm Jerome. You want tacos? I was like, yes, I do. And he was like, oh man, that ice cream chick isn't gonna be there. And I was like, yes. I was like, no, man, she won't. And this was after I'd already asked him that all I want was an ice cream truck and a taco truck. And so now there's this beef between Jerome, the taco man, and Sayla, the ice cream lady. And go ahead.
It was beautiful.
Go ahead, Lennon.
Like a little bit more than a beef now, right?
Well, this was it. This was it. You know, I'm gonna cut ahead.
Cut ahead.
So please these two are just like around, and like this big wedding is coming up, and Letters has taken it upon himself to throw the greatest street party ever in honor of our new queen and high princess. I don't know what Callie's
Queen's. Didn't we decide? Didn't Tim was like queen's consort?
No, yeah. I Lennon have decided I want to be a princess. So.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, crown princess sounds right.
Crown princess, we like that.
Yeah, and so they were both pissed. They were both pissed that they had both been hired to the thing, and they let me know. But I think it was dear old Callie who like went over and was like, "Hey, Sayla, Jerome made this taco for you. Like, whatever, if you want it or whatever." And she's like, oh, okay, like, you can like give him this. And she like send over an ice cream thing. And like, you know, things went a little well. And like, we were to check, and like, you know, it was like, they were all like fiery to begin with, and they're still fiery. And then we like check back in like months later.
Yes.
And now they have a half taco, half ice cream truck.
Yeah, dude.
Where they do like ice cream tacos.
Yes.
And I still want to check in with them because I haven't checked in a while. And Jerome and Sayla are my favorite.
Sean, I think you and me and Neppy should just all leave and go check in on them.
We should leave the party again. Should we do that again? And just go check in on a bunch of NPCs we love?
While we're setting up our ambush.
What's the worst that could happen? If we just all are like, hey, hold tight. We're going to go.
Does anybody want a taco? We're getting tacos or ice cream or taco
ice cream. Ice cream sandwiches. Y'all want some? Come back.
So I've been thinking about like very early stage. Like we're talking about Callie and Kamea's wedding and stuff. And I'm thinking about early Callie and Kamea. What did I used to say when I put my hand up? I used to put my hand up and be like, hey Tim, can I? And I can't
have sex with Kamea.
It wasn't.
It was.
Can I do my wife? Was it that?
It was just like, can I go see Kamea? I'm gonna go see. Can I talk to Kamea?
Can I
have sex with Kamea? It was just like all the time. You just put your hand up and be like, "Can I do this?" And
I'm gonna go do this.
Yes, you do that. Like it's great. So we got to like the end of that. Go ahead.
If
Sean.
I may, there was when we were living in Kamea's house. I was only there for the tail.
Oh my god, you might talk about my favorite moment also.
Yes.
But oftentimes we would all be having breakfast.
Yes.
Callie and Kamea in absence, and Callie would just like come down, like chug a whole thing of orange juice.
Yeah, that happens.
And then just like
back upstairs.
And back up.
I think my favorite moment was one, every single time I used to ask that, I used to get scared because the first, or like maybe not the first time, but it was like one of the times that I asked that question, Tim made me roll performance checks for that. And I got like, there was a time in space, it happened more than once, where Tim made me roll performance checks when I went to go see my wife. So every time I've stopped asking him, I'm like, oh, I don't want to fail that. So I just like let it just like go by. But I used to have to roll performance checks.
It's very funny.
I think one of my favorite moments from that was just very early Callie Kamea living in Kamea's house. Kamea's not a queen. And then just like perception was Neppy was the only one that perceived just like things in the room shaking, but she didn't know what it meant. She didn't understand it. Just
I couldn't put two and two together.
Couldn't put two and two together, but like it couldn't. He was like, yeah, you see, like things shaking.
But you're not really sure why, because like Neppy knew what sex was.
Yeah,
but, like,
yeah.
Had never had sex herself, and was just like, why is the wall shaking?
Yeah.
Well, that's strange. Oh well.
That's great. And everyone else who does know doesn't have high enough perception.
Perception to realize what's
Because
up.
also at that time, Finnan didn't know what sex was.
No.
And
he wasn't there. And he wasn't there.
Where Finnan had like a crush on Callie. And
There
like
was a
remember
time
the
where
time where
Finnan
Finnan had a crush on Callie and Letters was coaching him through it. But Callie's straight up a lesbian. Like
Callie
it
was
would just go over.
You're not my type. I'm sorry.
And,
Like I
it was
don't
just,
date men.
Yeah, I was just going over Callie's head. He'd say something. She'd be like, "Oh, thanks." Just like clueless. Just like
funny.
He's also so much younger than her. But yeah, I love those early moments.
Those were great. Very formative for like us as characters, which were so nice. And like you think about it now and it's like, God, we're also, so old and grizzled at this point. No, it's not. It's funny.
Well, just like the fact that like we all used to live in Kamea's house. Like that's weird.
For
like,
a very long time.
For a very long time. That's such a weird thing to be connected to Callie's wife and like, oh yeah. We all used to live in the same house.
My favorite thing about Callie's house was the one time that me and Finnan just brought back that pack of dogs.
Oh my
because
and Callie
Letters
was like,
didn't understand the relationship of dogs and people. He thought it was like, these are like fun pets. Like
yeah.
Callie
asked Kamea if she could keep some dogs, and Kamea was like,
no.
We can't keep street dogs.
Can't keep everyone. So we get to the end of this 6 months. It's a week before the wedding, and because Kamea's coronation was happening a couple days after, like they were getting married on a Friday, this was the reason that I made the calendar. This 6-month time jump was the reason I made the calendar. So it was just kind of like trying to figure out what happened, and I was like, 6 months, what months of the year? And then I got on a deep dive and just started creating all of it. Because up to like this, like I went back and dated everything, but so they got married on a Friday, or they were getting married on not a Friday, sorry, whatever the equivalent of our Friday is, and then the coronation was happening on the equivalent of a Sunday. Cantirlen is the Friday and Demelen is the Sunday. Sorry, I should know that. Bad lore keeper of the date system I created. So they're in rival and anticipating the coronation, and the evening before coronation, there's like hundreds of ships moored, or the evening before the wedding, there's hundreds of ships moored. King Evard is there with Kern Burnman from Spellen. High Priestess Thokoria Doomwing from the King's Cauldron in Cinderfall is there. And emissaries from Fawe Tavar are there. The emissaries from Barmwich are there with Falric as governor. There's the emissaries from Clore, dwarves from Weirangdune, Heliag Stormstone, who is the queen of the Crystal Caverns, who we've had stuff with now with Searingdune. And like this big trade caravan has come down for the coronation. And we see this like large detachment of ships, probably 20 to 25 of them with lots of merchant ships around them. And they hold the symbols of Bakal. And so we're just like standing up on the top of the hill, and it's like Neppy and Kokane and a couple other people just being like, fuck. And Kokane sees a familiar ship. The ship of King Vel Soom, which has, is there. And Kokane's just like, and I think we just ended the episode with Tim just being like, yep, that's his ship. And that's where we're gonna end it. And I was
Yeah, that was
like,
we were standing on the dock. It was all of us the night before Callie's wedding. Callie had just been like with Command and like doing all wedding prep stuff, and then Callie and everyone grouped up and we were standing on the dock, just being like, we're so excited for the wedding tomorrow, and then the coronation, and then we saw the ship, and that's where that episode ended.
Yeah. It was like, fuck. It was like this beautiful, wonderful 6 months, and we were all like,
and then I think in real life we had to wait. Like, I think we were playing weekly at that point. And I think we had to wait 2 weeks.
Because it was over Christmas.
Yeah, I think we had to...
Yeah.
Was that just a year ago?
Yeah. So the session 59, which was the 6 month time jump, happened on December 22nd. And then the wedding episode, which was the next one, happened on January 5th.
Right.
And then this is one of the first episodes where I actually start dating the sessions. So I have everything. You
start dating them? I thought you were married to Tim, though.
Thanks. So I think we have some time. Did we? Yeah, we can probably talk about the wedding episode. That sounds good. I think we can probably talk about the wedding episode before.
I mean, have we talked about what happens with Vel Soom and
okay.
the? We've talked about the heart getting ripped, right?
That's after the wedding.
That's the episode after it.
Yeah. But like,
we haven't talked about it on chatWater.
Really?
We've alluded to it. But we've never actually gone through it
with Kokane. I mean, Matt about it.
Yes.
But yeah, let's talk about the wedding, but not the coronation. Let's just talk about the wedding. We've got enough time to just talk about that.
So we'll get halfway through this episode, then we'll just talk about the beautiful wedding and not the
because the wedding is so beautiful, and having Lennon here for it is the best.
Yeah. So like just before the wedding starts, so the episode starts off just before the wedding. Neppy communes with Nepthysiket, and it had been a plan for me the entire time to have, and I chatted with Tim about it, to have Taya and the Order of Paladins be at Callie's wedding.
Fucking ripped my heart out of my chest.
And I had planned that I had been writing this wedding ceremony for like 3 weeks. I had been writing it and was like, I need to know if I can do this. If my invocation, like me calling, will do this. And he's like, absolutely, you can do that. I was like, great. So she had asked Nepthysiket, like, will you allow Taya and the Order of Paladins to be there? And Nepthysiket said yes. And she asked, like, are we safe in Wolfreen for the foreseeable future? And Nepthysiket replied, I cannot pierce the hearts of the wicked with my sight, which was allusion to Vel Soom. And then she said, will my homecoming at Philenis be a joyous occasion? Because she knew that at some point she wanted to go back to Philenis. And she said, I think about this because this is session 61. We didn't get back to Philenis until like 80 something. Tim said, or as Nepthysiket, there is always joy in reunion, even in the darkest hours.
No, shut the fuck up. That's crazy.
Right? I know.
Because that was... we're not there yet, but man.
Yeah. It was wild. So Neppy had asked everyone I had asked everyone to, like, your character is going to bring a ribbon to the wedding. Just let me know what color it is and prepare a little something to say about it. So Neppy, Kokane and Neppy talk a little bit about like what's happening with Vel Soom, and she just like they kind of just like reaffirm their just like care and love for each other, and she casts death ward on him the day of the wedding, and it's just like nothing's gonna happen to you. I won't let anything happen to you. And then Finnan knocks on the door and is just like, Neppy, can I borrow you? And she's like, in a minute. I'm busy talking to my husband about how I'm gonna, or not husband yet, about how I'm gonna keep him alive. So then Finnan goes outside and he's like weaving this ribbon from like shadow and moonlight, and he asks for Neppy's help with it. And then Neppy casts ceremony on Finnan and like does this little like, you've returned, like this is like your coming of age, you're a man now. Mm-hmm. So she does this little like coming of age ceremony with him and is like, you know, you've wanted to be a man, like if we've ever treated you like a child, like we're not going to do that anymore, like you're a man now, this responsibility is coming with that. It's great. Then a whole bunch of people arrive and it's beautiful.
Oh,
Yeah, where did
And
we go? We like
we went,
The
it was like a
forest.
2-hour hike outside of Wolfreen into the woods.
so we had to hide from all the party guests we invited.
Because the party had already started in the city, and we were like, we have to get outside the city.
We also wanted somewhere foresty because we're both Melora gals.
Yes. And in the background was the Petch had something under like a large sheet.
Ugh.
And we didn't know what it was. And it was just like the Petch were just like, there was just like something there under a large sheet. So we all like prepared something for the wedding. And there was like this clearing. There was an altar that had been carved out of wood. There was like wildflowers weaved into the trees. Chimera's parents were there. The council was all there.
Sobbing.
King Evard was there. Kern Burnman and his daughter Amira were there. Kamea's housekeeper Mara was there. And then
Was Jar the flower girl?
Jar was the flower girl. Yes,
Ugh.
she was. And then we all like got in our wedding attire.
That was the
It was
best.
great.
The best.
We just all went around
So
in a circle
good.
and said what
We had a
wore
lot
together.
to go through, but I was just like, no one was asked to plan this, but I was like, what's everybody wearing? And it
Yeah.
became such a deep dive. Like people were
was.
peddling up their favorite dressmakers. Like,
Yes,
oh. And
Yeah,
it was
Mm.
great.
I think my favorite part about that was like, yeah, no one had really prepared it that much. But Em and I were both like, oh, wait, picture
I was
reference.
like, this is what Neppy's wearing.
I'm like, this is what Callie's wearing. Exactly. So
yeah.
No one prepared, but everyone was ready.
Everyone was so ready
ready.
to engage with it. Yeah. Spooky was wearing like an emerald green velvet pantsuit.
So, yeah.
She wasn't hidden under her cloak, and Wiggles was in a bowler hat with an
Right.
emerald bow tie. Neppy was wearing this gold dress with like a big train, lots of like gold jewelry. She had like her like prayer shroud on, just like this is Neppy in high priestess mode. Letters was wearing a sleeveless tuxedo
With cuffs.
with cuffs and matching sleeveless tuxedos and cuffs for the Petch were all wearing them. Finnan was wearing a suit.
The same that Hulk
Right.
Hogan famously wore.
Yes. Like Callie was wearing this beautiful light blue dress, light blue and gold dress with wildflowers and vines on it, and like a veil, just so beautiful. There was Neva was there, like approached with Nissa.
Love
And then
Neva.
Kamea stepped through the tree line and they walked up to the altar together. Kamea was wearing this like rich, like beautiful magenta
Oh, yeah,
purple dress.
Did we walk together? Did Callie
You
and
did,
Kamea
yeah.
walk each other down the aisle?
Yeah. And
Vomit.
as they were walking
gross.
down the aisle, Neppy began casting ceremony with it because she can perform weddings. This is the first wedding that Neppy had ever performed ever. And she lit a bunch of incense and candles kind of flickered around them in this semicircle pattern. And Neppy looked up and she saw Torin in the tree line behind them. Yeah, which was really nice. And then I had written this wedding ceremony. Forgot what Kokane was wearing. Kokane was wearing a like very kind of like formal version of what he wears. If anyone has seen the wedding art of Neppy and Kokane that we posted on the Instagram, kind of like that.
This is his famous and elusive
Other
third shirt.
The third
shirt.
the fancy shirt. So when I was writing Callie and Kamea's ceremony, I was like, okay, like I personally, as Emma, have never written a wedding ceremony before. I've been to a bunch of weddings, know what I like at a wedding and know what I find boring. So I was like, I loved the concept of a Celtic hand fasting ceremony. I thought that was like it felt very Melora to me. And it was just like, it could be something that the two of them would do for each other. And knowing that like everyone around them would contribute a ribbon, like helping bind them together, and knowing that their community had support for them felt very apt. So I think that's why I did it. So Neppy started off the ceremony by honoring the gods and the wilds, calling upon the wild mother Arathis and Nepthisaket, blessing the place, honoring choice, and allowing like allowing the space here to be sacred, honoring the power of fire, the warmth of the heart and home, the depth of the seas, the moonlight, the steadfast of stone, and the strength of steel and order. And then did like a little thing like the bond you make here today in the most sacred of places will stand as a testament to your partnership. I invited everyone to come up and like give them the ribbon. Do you want to say what Letters ribbon is?
Letters ribbon was my favorite ribbon.
It's perfect.
So
it was so good.
For context, like Letters was not the first one to go up with the ribbon, I don't think.
No,
was he?
We're not. No.
Yeah, but like
you're in the middle.
Like Finnan comes up with this ribbon that's literally woven from like star and moonlight. Yes. And like fucking Kamea's parents had like a ribbon that was woven from like super duper fucking druid silver, and like everyone is coming up with like fucking power ribbons, and I think Kokane like tinkered a ribbon that was empowered by his god, and nobody told Letters was the guy who like showed up to like the like Secret Santa with like, oh, I thought we had a $20 limit, and like bought like a family pack of like Reese's Pieces.
I love that.
And so he just had like a brown ribbon from a stationery store.
Reese's Pieces are Callie's favorite.
It's perfect. It was perfect though.
It was so good.
I think I recall what Letters said, and I know you'll correct me if I get it wrong because you got it written there, but he had this brown ribbon and he said, where I come from, brown represents family. And it'll oh fuck.
It made me cry what you said. It was so good.
What did I say, Em? I can't remember.
Where I come from, brown represents family. Your family will support you like the earth under your feet.
That's
so good.
I have found Callie's vows on my phone. I still have them.
Oh, bless up.
Can you read them?
Too.
Do you want me to read them?
Yes, that's
let me
what
go
they're
through.
here
Let me
for.
go. Let me go through the ribbons, and then
yeah.
I want to hear Callie's vows because that's part of the ceremony. So Neva gave a leather ribbon and hoped that they would be durable enough to weather any storm.
Well, this is gonna make me cry again. Why are we
the council? Nissa gave a ribbon, a silver chain. May the wisdom of Arathis light your path, and may the passion of Melora keep your flame alight. Finnan gave a ribbon woven from moonlight in the darkest moments where you always find the light of each other's love. Letters ribbon that he said Kamea's parents offered a woven twine ribbon from the bark of an alder tree that said, may the roots of your love grow deep. Kokane offered a ribbon woven from thin copper wire. May you both live the life you choose and the one you deserve. Yana gave a deep green ribbon when home feels far, remember that you always have each other, and despite the distance, you carry your family with you. And then Taya and the Order and the winds just like wrapped around them, and like wove the rind around their wrists, like no ribbon given, but like made the like ribbons just feel a little tighter together. And then Kamea gave her an olive green ribbon fixed with an owl bear feather that says, with this ribbon, I bind my spirit to yours. I will never be far from you.
So cute.
Yeah. Okay, read your vows. Read your vows.
Oh my God, they're so long.
No, they're perfect. Read them. There's no rules here. Read your vows.
This is what chatwater's for.
Yes.
Oh man.
For
I
making
might
you
cry
cry.
again.
Do it.
Because I just skimmed them a little bit and I forgot a lot of what Callie said. Like I forgot what was connected in this for the past for Blackwater. Okay. Callie's vows are
Ting,
here we
ting,
go.
ting, 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 ting.
Before I left the labyrinthic class, the last member of my order took my hands and looked at me in the eyes and said, I believe in you. It was tradition for us all to stand in a circle, telling each other we believed in each other. I've always felt like I was looking at a good friend and telling them I love you, and no matter what happens out there, I got your back. It made me feel safe, sturdy, strong, loved, and at home. I lost that for a long time, and I wasn't sure if I'd ever be able to find anything like that again, till the day I met you. I was drawn to you in a way that I've never felt before, and the only thing that has ever come close to what I feel when I look at you is knowing Melora is with me. Your warm and inviting eyes and your magnetic smile softened my tough facade immediately. And then, Kamea, I believe in you. I believe in our love, and I believe in our journey, and
that we are about to take together. No matter where I am, I promise to come back to you because you are my home. I love you.
It was so good. And then they did their vows, and Neppy was just basically like, these are the hands of your best friend. They will walk along, these hands that will work alongside yours as you build your future together. These are hands that will passionately love you and cherish you, comfort you. These are the hands that will hold you with fear and or hold you when your fear or grief fills your mind. These are the hands that will help hold your family. These are the hands that give you strength when you need it. And at last, these are the hands that even when wrinkled in age will still be reaching for yours, giving you the same unspoken tenderness as you hold here today. And then Neppy gave her ribbon, which was like a dark navy blue ribbon. And her ribbon signified the gift of time, and talked about the sense of like foreverness, as it doesn't necessarily mean the end of your life. It means everything that you give to this person in this life and everything after it. That forever is a bond and a promise. And then I had asked Lennon if she had any songs that she thought were very significant of Callie and Kamea. And I was like, please send me these while I'm writing your wedding ceremony. And then the last little bit of your wedding ceremony, I weaved lyrics from those songs in at the end.
Those are in the playlist.
They are, yes, in the playlist. And then the last line was, may you love each other timelessly in this life and the next. And then I pronounced them married, and then they kissed.
Yeah.
And then everyone was clapping, and then Neppy leaned in and was like, I think you kiss now. Like,
so good.
And it was fucking great. And then the Petch pulled this like thing under the sheet forward, and it was a very tastefully carved statue of Callie and Kamea. And like Callie was like embracing Kamea, and Callie's wings were extended, and it looked almost like.
Where is that statue now?
It's outside of their house, Callie and Kamea's house.
It's outside the Blackwater Keep. Or not the Blackwater Keep, the Gatestone Keep.
It's outside of the Gatestone Keep.
Amazing.
Yeah.
You're ready to, whenever I get married, to do that for me, right?
Hell yeah, brother. My speech at your wedding will make everyone cry. You know it well.
I do.
So then we had like the like private kind of little reception at the wedding spot, and then we went back to the city, and then a couple hours later we had the public reception at the Temple of Arathis.
Letters party.
Yes.
That is where Jerome and Sayla sort of sparks flew. Yeah.
The big
it was a real good time. I don't know if we've talked about Duomo. Duomo is the drum circle guy.
Yes.
Letters sunk like 500 gold pieces into this, just like this party alone. He bought drums for the whole city. The drum circle.
There was a lot of drums happening.
Went around 4 city blocks. It was great. Wild.
So that was go ahead, Len.
This is when like everyone else is like, I guess this is like all the weddings I've been to. This kind of seems how it works too. But everyone was like partying. Callie and Kamea were going around meeting everyone, all the delegates, and
so that the big public reception was outside, and you guys did your waving, and it was lovely. There was probably like an obligatory kiss on a balcony, and then we were all inside as part of this like semi-private reception, and there were a large contingent of people. And we have time to do this, and then we'll finish chatWater tonight. There was the High Elder Council of Faway Tavar were there. Callie and Kamea met the dwarves from Weirang Dune. They met a group of Dragonborn from the King's Cauldron on Cinderfall. I met Fulric, saw King Evard and Kern and Svelen. They met Heliax Stormstone. There was toasts. It was great. And then we see across the room, there is this tall figure, bald, wearing robes of black with gold filigree. He's wearing this yellow and black stone amulet around on a necklace. Gross. And Kokane just like freezes.
Yeah. And
it's King Vel Soom, just like across the room. And then we see like we're like over here being like, oh fuck. And Callie and Kamea are like shaking hands and doing
We had
the
to
rounds
meet
and
him. We had to shake his hand and meet him and talk
shook
to
his
him.
hand in this whole thing.
We had to meet him, just like introduce ourselves, and I think Callie just like held on to Camilla's hand tighter.
Yeah.
I had to be nice. I had to meet him and shake his hand because I was married to who was going to be the queen tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's why
And
everyone was in town.
Finnan tried to like, bring Kokane into like a big hug and cast seeming on him so that he looked different. And like Vel Soom basically was like, wish it was there to open trade between Bacall and Wolfrine once more, tells Camilla that he's ended slavery in Bacall, and this will likely ease trade negotiations now. And then while they're talking, Vel Soom's eyes just shift and look directly at Kokane across the room. And Vel Soom leans over and just whispers to one of his soldier emissaries, and one of the soldiers just peels off and then comes right towards us and hands Kokane like a note. And then like the second,
Kokane doesn't look like Kokane.
And Kokane doesn't look like Kokane at this point. And we're just like, I was shaking. I was like, oh my fucking God, this is so bad.
Yeah.
And then we like looked up again and Vel Soom was gone. We'd lost him in the crowd. Neppy like gave a good perception, tried to perceive around the room, and nothing. So he opened the note, and Vel Soom had requested his presence alone on the Golden Dawn. And we talked to Kokane, and he's like, I don't want to die. I don't want to go there and die.
Yeah.
And, some people were kind of making some reckless plans, and we were like, no, we have to play this strategically. We cannot be reckless here. They know so much, and they have power over him. We can't risk his life doing this. And that was where the session ended. After this beautiful wedding. Please jump in, Lennon.
Can I say my favorite part?
Yeah.
About this wedding, and just like I don't think I've ever said it. I don't know if I've ever acknowledged this or said this. It might make me fucking cry, but here we go. My favorite thing about this whole wedding, and just like in this world that we've created and stuff, but in this wedding mostly was like, it's the queen getting married. Like the queen is getting married and she's marrying another woman. And the fact that it was just like a big party and no one was mad, and just like it went just like I know it's a world that like has been created by obviously like the like such great people, but the fact that it was just like there was no ick except for Vel Soom, but like not even, he's not attached to the wedding, but just the fact that the wedding got to be happen, and it just got to be happy, and there was like nothing. There was no like, because like in I guess in movies and TV and stuff, when you see like weddings, like queer weddings and stuff too, there's always the ick. There's always the hurt and the pain and the like someone's parents don't show up, or someone doesn't approve, or
a battle pops off in the middle,
like something happened. Like there's always that. There's always the hurt and the ick, and we just got to have this wedding that was just like perfect, and like everyone just is like, hell yeah. It was really nice for like me, just me.
We were all sitting around my living room crying. We all crying.
I was sobbing. The amount of times I've just like sobbed in your living room, but like sobbed and looked at Tim and been like, Tim, no. I do it, and I sit here now. Tim will say something, I'm like, Tim, no.
But. Yeah, I was like, if I can get through reading this wedding ceremony without me, Emma, crying, it will be a miracle. And I cried halfway through it.
I think the thing for me is like, obviously in the queer couple that is in our campaign, like I am half of that.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that it's just like, I don't know, this isn't even chatwater anymore. This is just me talking about my own.
Do it. Dish it.
What do you think chatwater is?
That's what we do. There's no rules here.
There's just like the fact that I've watched so many shows where like, I'm not going to throw shows out there, but I've seen so many shows where just like there's been a queer couple, especially two women, and it just ends in one of them dies, or one of them dies in like a horrible way, or a way that isn't meaningful, or just like they're always dead. They always die. They never get happy endings. literally, I can't think of a movie or a TV show with two women who fall in love who don't have heartbreak in the end, or aren't like a mistress, or like, I don't know, breaking up a marriage, or like end in just complete disaster. Like there's always heartbreak, and you never see a happy ending. So it's nice that they had theirs.
Happy ending so far.
I know. Callie might die.
There's still giant worms.
Tim's always hinted that there is a couple characters on this show that have, or this, this campaign that have plot armor, and I have my thoughts on who they are. I think it's Jar and Kamea. I think Jar and Kamea have plot armor, but that's just me.
Callie don't.
Callie don't. Well, I was saying, like, this is gonna get up, but I was saying earlier, like, obviously, I don't want Callie to die, because in my head, I have an image that I want when this is all over. I'm not going to say it out loud, but I have the very happy ending image. I think I've told a couple people about it that I have painted in my head, and I'm like, that's what their life is going to be like.
Yeah, hell
but
yeah.
Also, can we just take a moment? If Callie dies, imagine how beautiful her wedding is, and imagine how beautiful her funeral is, because she's a fucking princess.
Shut your mouth right now.
It'd be so pretty, though. You can't deny it. If Callie died, her funeral would be gorgeous, because the queen would be her wife. And I'm going to put it out there. And I'm going to say it. If
it's
Callie,
in the chat, be careful.
If Callie ever dies, I'm coming to stream. But I'm not showing my face. My camera won't be on and my mic won't be on, because I'm dead. I will be part of the scroll and I will be there, but you won't see me because Callie's dead.
That was going to be my whole thing. If I'm just seeing a message from Adam Lucas right now. That was my whole thing. If Neppy had gone into the abyss and been gone, I just would have been here, but like, I would have been watching the stream, but like wouldn't have been on it.
Yeah, well, that was what I was thinking. Like when Callie got eaten by the worm, I was like, let's think about Callie's funeral, because that could have happened. And I was thinking about it. A, it would be so beautiful, and then B, I was like, I don't want to bring in a new character right away if that happens. So I would have been like done something where I would have been on stream, and I'd be like, before I'd be like, hey guys, I'm here, and then after I'd be like, hey guys, that was great.
I'm dipping.
But like in stream, you wouldn't see my face. I'd be there, but you wouldn't see my face.
I think we all get to kind of choose what happens if our character dies for an extended period of time. Like, I think about what, and in the episodes that happened, or the sessions that happened coming up, like in our next episode of Chatwater, we'll talk about what happened when in the next episodes and why Matt had to play a different character for a couple sessions. So yeah, I think, and there's been a couple funerals that we've, had in our campaign. We've had Hade's funeral, which was streamed. Shadow Tiger in the chat just was like, if you think Neppy throws a great wedding, wait till you see her funeral game. Hell yeah. Neppy throws a great funeral.
You've seen her funeral game.
The priestesses of Nephthisicat know how to throw a good funeral.
Imagine Neppy and Kamea just like making a funeral for
don't do that. Don't do that.
Pretty. It'd be so pretty.
And Torrin's funeral, I will say, Torrin's funeral was very beautiful. That another instance of me.
Callie did some good shit there at Torrin's.
We'll talk about Torrin's funeral and what happened there and the big tears that happened. But I think that's Chatwater.
I also will say, hot take, Callie can't die, because I think Callie is the best character I've made, and I think any character that I made that would join the campaign here would be worse. So she can't die.
Well, she most certainly can. And you always learn from a character. You don't know that your next one would be worse.
Yeah.
You have grown. Your abilities as a D&D player have grown.
Guys,
Callie 2.0 could be great.
What if I just if Callie dies, make another character that falls in love with the queen again? Nope. I would fall in love with Neva.
We love it. We love to see it.
All my characters will be queer. Spoiler.
Hell yeah.
I will never have a straight character.
Representation is important. But we should probably end it there for this evening. Thanks, y'all, so much for hanging out with us. Those of you in the chat right now and listening to our story. I love doing these deep dive episodes backward. This
So
is very fun. Very fun. Also, thank you, Len, for joining us tonight.
I will
Thank you, Len.
I will come
Yes.
on the show anytime you want me to.
Yes, we love that. We love that. So we will be back Saturday for our main campaign. And in the meantime, come hang out with us on Instagram. You know, if you want to know more about our story, it's all up on YouTube. All of our episodes are on YouTube. If people are often asking, like, you guys are so many episodes in, where can I take a look? It's all there. It's on YouTube. I literally have it up the next day. So even if you're a Twitch person, nothing will ever be behind a paywall for now. Not until we break big, which we never will, but it's fine. So
Don't say that. I've got plans.
Sean has plans for us. So we don't want to ever keep it behind a paywall. And so it'll be there for you so that you can watch it. And if it's not on VOD on Twitch, it will be on our YouTube. Thank y'all so much. We love this and you folks. And good night, everyone.